Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and Happy New Year. Welcome back to School Committee. First official School Committee meeting for the new year, January 12th, 2015. We have an abbreviated agenda this evening. We're going to move through it very quickly because right after this we're moving into our second budget session for fiscal 16. First item on the agenda is a review of an approval of minutes from December 15th. We have both regular session and executive session. Could I have a motion for the regular session, please?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Minutes from the executive session, December 15th. Could I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the executive session minutes from December 15th, 2014.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Communications. Brad, welcome. Happy New Year.
So I'm seeing some new faces, so I'll introduce myself. My name is Brad Patterson, and I'm a sophomore at Hingham High School. To start out on last Saturday, the Quiz Bowl team hosted a National History Bee and Bowl competition, and they had 20 schools come to the high school. And also on last Saturday, GCP went to the Common Market for a scavenger hunt and dim sum. And then today, the Quiz Bowl team had a current event challenge in the LMC. Also in the LMC today, the Green team had a meeting to plan for Green Week, which I believe is in March. On January 25th at 1:15, the high school will be participating in WGBH's program High School Quiz Show. And Hingham's the only high school to compete in all 6 seasons of the show. And they will be competing against Oliver Ames in the first round. And everyone is encouraged to go and give their support. On Martin Luther King Day, which will be the 19th, right before exams, the girls' hockey game against Notre Dame. And the Japan meeting was also tonight, preparing for the I can't even pronounce that name, Tennoji High School exchange. And then for some of the others, boys track defeated Plymouth North last Saturday with a score of 87-12. And then also on field trips, not too many this week, or this session. Mrs. Sano will be going to the MMEA All-State Auditions, and that will be on January 24th. And then the big news, midterms coming up, with a few of midterms starting today, which would be a foreign language. And Tuesday, January 20th, math will be from 8 to 9:30, social studies 9:45 to 11:15. Wednesday, January 1st, science from 8 to 9:30, and English to 9:45 to 11:15. Thursday, all the makeups from the 2 days before, and selected AP exams, plus computer proficiency exam. Any questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Okay, any other communications now? Questions and comments from the audience? Anything not on the agenda? Hearing none. Okay. Superintendent's report.
Just a couple of things that I would mention. In your packet, there was a handout, a Tech Talk handout of some professional development technology options that are available. I'm very pleased that we can continue to offer those, and that we also have the help and support of our students. The only other thing I would mention is in your packet you have 3 handouts that are related to the preliminary registration survey for the full-day kindergarten program, and that went out today. People can apply or register online or with paper copy. Paper copies are in the school, and they're also here, online information, and the information that you have there is also on the website. We've sent news releases to the private preschool programs in town, and as well to the press. And who else did we send to? Principal sent a notice to their elementary building parents, and as well they sent the notice to the 1,000 Book Club group in each one of the schools, because those are a significant number of our. And there seemed to be a lot of interest immediately on the filling out the survey, so we'll hope that we get a good amount of response on it.
Thanks, Scott. I know that was a tremendous amount of work to get that out, and we wanted to get that out as quickly as possible, obviously, and there's already been a tremendous response. Just for the folks at home who may not have seen it, it's essentially pre-registration for the full-day kindergarten initiative that we're working on, trying to get a sense of real numbers so we can narrow down exactly what our budget implications will be with respect to what we're looking to charge for our tuition, which appears to be necessary aspect of the program, as well as what we might be able to support in our budget. So if you haven't already, please go to the superintendent's website and answer that survey. Thank you. Okay. Unfinished business then. Moving on to a policy change. This is something we looked at our last meeting in December. This was a policy change that the educators believed was a long time coming to clarify the age requirements for beginning first grade. Dennis, do you want to walk us through it?
Yeah, I mean, we discussed this at some length back in our December meeting, and before you'll see the revisions as discussed at that meeting to make it perhaps a little more clear about exactly what, touching upon different possibilities and so forth. Did you want to read the revised language or not necessarily?
I think if you just make the point of what
Yeah,
the
that's fine.
changes.
So the idea is that, as went out with the full-day K registration packet, the current policy is that for a child to be in kindergarten has to be 5 before September 1st. In terms of first grade, with a lot of kids going to full-day kindergarten elsewhere previously, and also kids that move in from out of state that have different start dates, we thought we could be a little more flexible in terms of the start for the first grade. So we've proposed that if a child's 6th birthday falls after September 1st, but no later than September 30th, that child would be eligible to start first grade if they had completed a public or private kindergarten program and also had demonstrated that they were ready for first grade. I think that's the gist of it.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I would move the revised language that you have in front of you in red.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. That's great. Okay, moving on to new business. In your packets, you'll see a draft revision of the town's financial policy with red line changes as suggested by the advisory committee, in particular a subgroup working on this financial policy. This was sent to me by Greg McCune, who I believe is chairing up that effort. And as you may recall, as the advisory committee does every 3 years, last year it revisited its financial policy and a number of revisions were made at that time. And these are some follow-up changes that seem to be appropriate based on kind of budgetary happenings of the last year with respect to unused levy capacity, as well as clarifying capital outlay amounts and some other items. So your homework for the 26th is to review these changes. We're not going to talk about them tonight. If you have any questions or comments, to come prepared on the 26th. Greg McCune is going to join us on the 26th for kind of a brief discussion. He will field questions and comments. Hopefully they'll be to the point, and to the extent that you want to forward them ahead of time, I can get them to Greg so he can be prepared. That would be probably helpful. As is custom, advisory looks for input from the Board of Selectmen as well as the school committee before passing revisions to the town's financial policy. So look forward to your input, if any, by the 26th. Okay. Okay, we have some appointments. We have some salary advancements. couple of appointments, retirements, and a resignation. Just a couple I wanted to note in particular. Karen Jenkins joins us in central office. She happens to be the sister of former school committee chair Christine Smith. So we welcome her aboard. She just started last week, and we're pleased to have some new staff in central office to help out with the abundant work product. Just a note about Sandra DiGiacomo, a longtime middle school counselor, actually my son's grade middle school counselor this year, so announced her retirement just recently at the end of January. So we're sorry to see her go, but certainly wish her well in retirement. And just another note, Jim Kirkcaldy, or Kirk as he's known, has been teaching here for over 40 years, and he is the head of our social studies department, and has really just kind of made a real mark. I think you had him
Adam,
his first year teaching, so
Absolutely did.
there you go. So that says quite a bit, and I've seen a number of emails over the years from past students of his who have reached out to him, thanking him for how much he helped them be prepared for college and the college level courses based on what he taught them and how he taught them. Nice thing about Jim retiring is that he's not leaving us entirely. He's going to stay on next year part-time, and he's going to teach an AP class. So that's his real love, is the AP teaching, so he's going to remain on as an AP teacher for one course. So we look forward to that, and we certainly wish him well in his retirement, and thank him for his long service to Hingham Public Schools. Moving on to item 8. So normally the 48-hour item is reserved for things that come up very late, and this is something that fits that bill. As many know, we've been negotiating with I think 6 collective bargaining units for over a year now, and we recently got word from the custodians union that they ratified the agreement that we came to recently, and there was a desire to ratify on our side as quickly as possible, and we learned about that really over the weekend. Friday, late Friday, after the posting. So we wanted to get that on the agenda. We invited Selectman Chair Irma Lauder, as is custom, to come and join us for the vote to ratify, and I turn it over to Carol to give us some broad strokes about the agreement.
Sure. So this was a long process with this group of people who do great work for us every day. And certainly I'm very appreciative of the ratification, because we really did ask a lot of them in this negotiation. We are tweaking the absenteeism policy. John, this is really the first contract he's negotiated with this group, and he had some great suggestions for us, and we were able to really put those all into effect. We've also changing the appointment of what we now call as a head custodian, which will be called a lead custodian in each of the schools at the end of the contract. We have a 2% across the board increase, as we have with the other units. We've modified the field opening and closing schedules, which was important with our new multipurpose field. We have use of the employee self-service portal, and so we received a lot of good benefits, I think, for the town and for the school department. So we're very appreciative. Like I said, they do great work. They're the backbone of our schools, and we're glad that this is behind us. I don't know, Liza, do you have anything to add, or Ray?
That's great.
That's good. So,
You want to make a motion?
so I'll make a motion that we ratify and sign the memorandum of agreement between the Hingham School Committee and the Hingham Public School Custodians and Maintenance Workers Association.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Thank you, Irma. We're just going to be another minute or so. We might even end early before we anticipated. So, nope, not right now.
Okay.
That's great.
Ray, one other
Yes.
thing that also came to our attention on Friday is that the administrators union, with whom we had a tentative verbal agreement, have set a date for their ratification. It will be on the 22nd, So that would allow that to be on our agenda. It's already been discussed, the terms of that agreement, the verbal agreement with the committee in an executive session last week, so we don't need to revisit those terms. The MOA, which is being compiled by their rep, is just about done, and the school committee should be getting copies of that, or the bargaining team should be getting copies of that. Yes, we should be able to vote in 26.
That'd be
We
great.
don't need a further executive session.
Right. And just a word for the advisory committee, this is great timing, and it'll be very helpful, because right now we're carrying an allowance for those groups that we had not yet settled with, and now that represents the last of the settlements that we can put in real numbers into the budget, and move forward that way. So that's great. I don't think there's any real subcommittee reports. But long-range planning is going to meet later this week to go over capital. We're going to discuss it tonight as well. The only other thing I would mention, kind of in the context of building committee, is that Cable Advisory is meeting this Wednesday, and one of the things on their agenda is to discuss how to spend the balance of funds given to them by cable companies under the current franchise agreement. And one of the things we're going to discuss with them is, now that the middle school has been constructed, is full of all the great technology, we want the ability to broadcast out of that facility, and specifically what will be necessary in order to make that happen. So that's one of the things we're going to discuss with them. We need to get some information, I think, from the cable company. Specifically, we do have specs from our end, and see what they might be willing and able to help us with. So that's something we'll talk about later this week.
We also hope that at that discussion, there will be some discussion of the offset that we are hoping to keep in our budget. It's there
Right.
now, but they will discuss that as well. So.
Right.
Want a motion?
Yeah, no, just one other thing I wanted to mention real quick before you make that motion. Some of you may have heard, I know those of you watching at home may not have heard, or some of you did, but Paul Killinger, our longtime football coach at the high school, is retiring. And I just wanted to say thank you to him and his staff for their many years of service. Really done a great job building this program and getting it to what it is. Efforts are underway to fill that position. Margaret Conity is spearheading that. We certainly wish Paul well, and look forward to a new chapter for Hingham High School football. So that's that. And with that, I would take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.